You become very motivated that yes, I want to do. But with the passage of time, you are going to lose your concentration. You are going to be distracted. You are going to give a more weightage to other activity at the cost of this competitive exam. So you cannot expect that the results would be in your favor. This is very essential that not only you have to make your mind, but on the other hand, you have to show determination. So as you know that the competition is very increasing. You know very well that in this exam, basically all students from Pakistan, they are going to appear. And with the number of, with the passage of time, the number of students that is also getting high year by year. So in last year, you know very well that more than 20,000 applications that they were received by FPSC. So it is a, although, but you need not to get worried that if more than 20,000 applications come, so how you will be among top 200 students. So basically the thing is that if more than 20,000 students apply, so basically you know very well that around, you can say 15,000 they appear, but only 2,000 or 3,000 students, they are really potential student candidates, and they appear in their well preparation. Other students, I don't know that what are the reasons. Some students, they take attempt just for sake of adventure. Some students, they are going to lose their own chance, so they say that it's a better to avail the chance. Some students, they want to gain some sort of experience, so without any preparation, they just take attempt. So your competition is only with the 2,000, the potential students is 2,000. So if you are going to prepare yourself very well, and if you are going to sacrifice your 4 months for this exam, then I'm pretty sure that you would be successful in getting your own preferences. And in 4 months, you need to show your determination. You need to show more hard work. You, at least you need to make your mind that this is your top preference. This is your priority. This exam is your priority rather than any other activity. I'm not going to say that you have to boycott your social activities. You can carry on your social activities, whatever the routine you are going to have, please continue that. But the thing is that you need to manage 4 to 6 hours, at least 4 to 6 hours per day for 4 months for this exam, if really you want to become successful at the end of the day. So this is the least determination that is required on the part of students, that they need to be committed at least for 4 months and for 4 to 6 hours per day. So this is the first thing about determination when we talk of prerequisites of CSS. And the second thing is that always expect the unexpected things as well, because everybody wants to be successful and everybody wants to succeed. This is very good and everybody should expect this. But on the other hand, you should not take it as a matter of life and death. If you take this exam in a lighter way, like when I say that you have to take in a lighter way, doesn't mean that you should not get bothered at all. Lighter in this sense that you have to take it. I request you all, please mute yourself so there would be no distortion. I have requested earlier as well, and still I'm going to request you, please mute yourself.
गारंटी सारी लेके आई वायरलेस दी.
Okay. आपका कोई क्वेश्चन तो नहीं है फिलहाल? Usman, classes will be tomorrow. There would be another about session. There would be subject selection. So from Monday, I think there would be proper classes. So you can contact admin. Okay, I will continue. So you have to expect unexpected results in this exam. In this way, your focus should be, you should make your mind that you will be successful and you will succeed and you will make your day. But on the other hand, do not make it as a matter of life and death. So you can study in this way that basically that is your own personality development. That is your intellectual grooming. Basically in CSS, you get a lot of knowledge. So you are also going to refine yourself. When you make your mind in this way, then you would not get bothered, and you will develop your taste in your studies, especially when you're going to compete competitive exam. So I would say that be prepared for unexpected results. But if you are really sincere, committed, determined, enthusiastic, and if you show passion, I'm pretty sure that you will get your desired results. Okay. And then I would say that you need to rely on notes, but not necessarily that whatever you have notes, you need to show blind trust. This is your
सर
competitive
हमें
exam.
आवाज नहीं आ रही, आवाज का थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है सर।
अली साहब, आपको आवाज का इशू आ रहा है? किसी और को भी आवाज का इशू आ रहा है?
No, sir, it's quite fine.
No sir,
it's fine.
It's fine. So Ali Saab, I request you that
Sir,
you need
so
to
it's
go to your
fine.
location. Maybe you have your own issue regarding connectivity. So that's why you have some sort of issue. Okay. So you have to make your notes, but not necessarily that whatever the notes you have to show blind trust. So you know very well that when you talk of your current affair, when you talk of your essay, when you talk of international relations, so things that are going to get changed with the passage of time. So please continue to update your notes and to make some fresh facts and figures. For example, as you know that recently a new budget has been passed. So you should know that what percentage of budget that has been allocated to health, education, especially when you talk of base income support program, that the name has got changed, whatever, because this is very essential. You should know that what is poverty level, what is exact poverty level, what are our foreign reserves, and what sort of agriculture contribution to GDP, and what is contribution of industrial sector. So these facts and figures, they are very essential. The positive or the negative thing, whatever is, that your all compulsory comparatively on the average, you can say. And when you talk of your optional subjects, so much of the questions, they are more analytical these days. So these facts and figures, they would be very helpful for you, and you would be very confident while answering certain things when you're going to second your arguments on the basis of certain facts. And when you talk with certain facts, this is a very basic thing on the basis of which you can convince your reader, your audience. So here your reader, your audience is your examiner. I would say that you need to rely on such statistics. They're very important. Ali Saab, I think you have your own issue about voice, because other students, they do not have any issue in my voice. So please change your location, or you need to sort out your own connectivity issue. मैं सबको अनम्यूट करूं। ये मैडम शकीला, आप अपने आप को जो है ना वो कर लें, आप मेरे से वो म्यूट हो नहीं गई।
Yes sir, mute करें। I'll mute all the participants.
म्यूट ऑल कर दें।
Yes sir.
वो मेरे से हो ही नहीं रहा ना।
सर लास्ट में आप वो दे देने चांस, क्वेश्चन जो भी करना है वो करेंगे।
चलें। कामरान साहब, मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि काइंडली सबको म्यूट कर दें फिर, क्योंकि मेरे से वो हो नहीं रहा। चलें।
सबको बता दें सर कि अपने माइक जो है म्यूट कर ले, तो हम फिर
Yeah, I have made announcement multiple times, but still some students, they have unmuted themselves. I think some students, they joined for the first time, so maybe just because of this. Anyhow, okay, so I would continue about that. Yes, this point has been elaborated about your notes, and the next point is about your English. In your CSS exam, when you say that see, for example, if the number of applicant that is more than 20,000, but you're going to compete almost 2,000 students on average. So 90% when the result would be declared, you would come to know that 90% students, they have got failed just in one subject, that is English. As I cleared my position in the beginning, that when you qualify your written part, then you need to qualify into two, you can say the two stages. The first is that you need to get aggregate marks, 50% aggregate marks of the total marks. And the second thing, that in your optional, you need to get 33% marks, and your compulsory 40%. It means in your essay, individually, you need to get 40% if you want to qualify. Okay, and when you talk of your Prezi, again, you need to get 40% in individual subject. So basically, students, sometimes they spend much time on other subjects, and they are going to sacrifice their own position when you talk of their compulsory subject, especially your English. So I would recommend you that you need to qualify and you need to pass your English, because much of the number of students that is going to become victim of just that is just on the basis of English. If you talk generally, so those students who belong from Balochistan, who belong from GB, or you can say Fata, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, as well as Sindh, so there are many vacant seats. So if you qualify your written part, your allocation is not the issue. Allocation is a major issue with those students who are from Punjab. So this is a very golden opportunity that you have to just qualify your written part, because there are many unoccupied seats and there are many vacant seats. So automatically you will get when you are going to get passed in your CSS exam. So this is very important that you have to take this opportunity in a very good way, and you have to maximize the maximum benefit from it. Okay, so the only thing is that you need to qualify your English, and how you can overcome your own weaknesses, how you can pass your English. This is only through practice. That not only you need to just you need to improve your reading, you need to gain more knowledge, but on the other hand, you need to have more grip in your sentence structure. You need to have more clarity. You should be in such position that you can convey your ideas in a very decent and error-free way. And CSS Officer Academy, that would give you a certain forum, and it would train you in such a way by which at the end of 4 months, you will observe a reasonable improvement in your own writing skills. So because I told you earlier that our focus is not just imparting theoretical knowledge, we rely much on evaluation of students. So basically, regularly, students, they are going to be evaluated, and their homework is going to be properly checked. And teachers, they always give their own feedback that results in the betterment of students. Because when you have more mistakes, you have more chances to get improved. And this is very natural that if before going to examination hall, if you make certain
सर
mistakes,
मुझे आवाज नहीं आ रही है, कब से कह रहा हूँ आवाज मुझे नहीं आ रही है सर।
अली साहब, आपको आवाज नहीं आ रही, बाकियों को आ रही है?
जी जी आ रही है आवाज।
यस सर, आवाज आ रही है।
आ रही है।
यस सर,
आ रही है आवाज।
You have your own issue.
बिल्कुल सर, आवाज आ रही है।
लेकिन नेट का इशू है सर।
अली साहब को मैं मैसेज कर लूंगा।
मीटिंग को लीव करके दोबारा ज्वाइन करें, फिर आवाज आएगी।
Okay. Okay, I will continue. So our focus is that we are going to make proper evaluation of students, and basically in a CSS Officer Academy, you would get the more trained teacher who are who have already experience of this exam, who have qualified, and who have their own rich experience. So by joining CSS Officer Academy, you would get the opportunity to get the maximum benefits from their experience. So not only they would share teachers, they would share their own experience with you, but on the other hand, you will also feel improvement in yourself through proper evaluation. So this English issue that would be redressed in a very organized way in CSS Officer Academy. Okay, the next prerequisites when we talk of CSS, that what is the trick to get a maximum score, especially when we talk of GB or FATA students, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan. So as such, they do not have any issue. But when we talk of certain students from Punjab, as you know that Punjab, there's a much competition in Punjab and many seats. There are also vacant. There is no vacant seat in Punjab. So basically, there's a more competition. So here, those students, especially who are Punjab, they need to rely more on idea generation. So if I'm going to focus for this on Punjab, it doesn't mean that other students, they should not focus on generating their ideas. If they generate their ideas and if they are more good at their analytical skills, the other students will also get advantage. I am just going to say that these students, I have mentioned earlier that those students who belong to these localities, they can get easily allocated because of certain vacant seats. But on the other hand, if you have more concern that what is the way to get maximum score, especially if you want to touch 700 and you want to get more than 700 marks, then you need to have a more analytical skill. And what is the procedure and the mechanism, or you can say what is the process that you can improve and you can enhance your own analytical skills? There are two ways. The first thing is that you need to improve your reading habit, because when you read different things, when you rely on different sources, automatically you are going to enrich your own mental capacities, and you can think and you can analyze things in a very different way. So automatically your analytical skills will be improved. The second thing is that you are going to have some lectures that teacher give you certain thoughts on different issues in a different way. So that is another way, that is a smart way, that without spending a reasonable time, that you are going to get the desired results through lectures. So this thing that will be highly beneficial for you in CSS Officer Academy. Okay, then I would say that subject selection is also equally important in your CSS exam, because some subjects, they are much scoring, and some subjects, they are not much scoring as compared to other subjects. Similarly, in some subjects, you need to consume less time, and in certain subjects, you need to spend more time, and in return there are no such probability that you will get the desired results. So CSS exam is a very competitive, and you need to be very careful in selecting certain subjects, and you should be very aware of certain pros and cons by opting certain subjects. For example, if I'm going to share my own experience with you, I know my past student that she was gold medalist in biotechnology. So she came to me and she asked my opinion that whether I need to continue my science subjects in CSS exam or not. I recommended that this is the better that you need to quit, because many science students, sometimes they believe that if they have done their masters, or even if they're going to do PhD or something like that, so they believe that if they are going to opt their own subject, it would be very good choice. But not there's no certainty, and there's no likelihood that the results would be up to your own expectations. What is the reason behind it? In CSS exam, you focus much on your compulsory subjects, especially when I talk of compulsory subject, it means your current affairs. And your current affairs is relevant not only for your current affair paper, but even then when you talk of your Pakistan affairs, when you talk of essay, when you talk of certain other optional subjects, so they have close nexus with your current affairs. So when you prepare for a long period of time and you are going to associate yourself more to your current issues, then automatically you take more interest in those topics which are related to your current issues. So automatically you are going to lose your own interest in your previous you can say that in your previous subject in which you have done your masters or something like that. So for example, if you are going to opt physics and CSS exam, and how much time you need to spend on physics, at least if it is within 10 days, then it seems to okay. But if you say that if you're going to opt physics or biology or chemistry or something like that, and even you have to spend at least 1 month, so I would say that it would not be a good choice. Why it is not a good choice? Even you spend 1 month, even then you are going to get not more than 70 score. On the other hand, there are certain optional subjects in which you spend just 5 to 10 days, and there are certain chances that you get more than 70 very easily. And even in these subjects, some students, they get more than 80. So subject selection is very important, that how much time you need to spend and what is the output that you are going to get in return. For example, when you talk of Punjabi, even when you talk of your regional languages, there is also some sort of contradiction. For example, when you talk of Punjabi, so in Punjabi, this is you can expect that you can get more than 90s. This is true. Even my own brother got more than 90s in Punjabi. But I know that he spent more than 1 month period for Punjabi. But on the other hand, if you opt certain other subjects like sociology, gender studies, international law, or you can say environmental science or many other optional subjects, so maybe you need to spend just 5 days and you can get more than 80s. So it means although you didn't get 90, but there's only difference of 15 marks or 10 marks. But on the other hand, you have saved your 25 days. And if these days they're going to be spent for the preparation of other subject, automatically you will overcome the difference. And the second thing is, as I mentioned earlier, that many students, they get failed in English. So if you opt those optional subjects who take less time and you do not need to get bothered at all, so I believe so that you can spend more time in your compulsory subjects. So you need to be very careful. Again, I would say that subject selection is not an easy task. It is a very tricky. It can be very problematic if you didn't choose with your full, you can say that with your full clarity. So not only you have to be more clarity, but at the same time you should also be careful in scoring trend and something like that. So that is very tricky thing, and you need to spend reasonable time over this. So I believe so that Zahid Saab in tomorrow's session, he would give a more detailed discussion and he will give a more deep insight about subject selection. Okay, so in subject selections, why I say that it is very tricky or it is something that it is very dodgy, because you need to consider two things. That what is the risk factor? Risk factor means that even you are going to opt and you have spent reasonable time in preparation, but what is the maximum output that you can get from that subject, and what is the time that you need to spend? So these things are very important. Sorry, एक message था कि it happened, otherwise it was okay. I didn't get कि क्या happened. Okay, next. So another thing that is a prerequisite of CSS, that you need to rely on smart work. When I say that a smart work means that it is a very systematic preparation. The reason is that in CSS is like ocean. If you are going to expand your knowledge, there is no limit. If you are going to even if you're going to study even 10 books, so there's maybe they are not sufficient. But on the other hand, if you are not going to study even a single book, it doesn't mean that you will get failed and you will not get a good score. Not at all. So there is a much sort of, you can say, disparity among students, that some students whom you know that they spent reasonable time, they kept themselves isolated, and they were just going to, you can say that they were going to confine themselves in their own rooms, but still they got failed. And some students, they took it in a very lighter note, and they were just they enjoyed their exam, and at the end of the day they got qualified. So basically the main thing is, examiner has no concern that what is your name, what is your education, what is your age, and what is your locality. Examiner concern is that whether you have reproduced answer up to his satisfaction or not, as to what extent you have been very analytical, and as to what extent you are going to have diversity in your answer. So this is more important, and this is something that cannot be done only through study. That can be done through certain discussions, that can be done by having some sort of lectures. So it depends on your own tool as well as on your own strategy, but you need to rely on smart work, that what is beneficial for you. For example, everybody would say that you need to spend that you need to read newspaper, but what time, but how many hours you need to spend for newspaper, what sort of news you need to be bothered, what sort of issues you are going to look after. So these things are very important. What are the topics that are important for you? This is very important, that you are going to prepare yourself in a circle, that you are not going to be deviated. You are not going to put yourself out of that comfort zone. If you are going to expand and if you are going to deviate yourself, maybe you are going to work like a donkey, but it doesn't mean that you will get the desired results. So hard work, preparation is essential, but at the same time, what to prepare, what to leave, what to focus, and how to attempt papers, these things are very important. So you cannot overlook the importance of these things. They are equally important. You know very well that all students, they get same knowledge from same teacher, but all students, they do not perform the same results. What is the reason? Again, I would say that it depends on your approach. It depends on your paper attempting technique as well. It depends on your introduction. It depends on your conclusion. It depends on the body of your answer, that how you have elaborated. So you need to rely on smart work. So maybe right now, I would not be in such positions to clarify and to give you that what is a smart work, because when you join CSS Officer Academy, when teacher will teach you, when they will share their own experience, when they will guide you how to prepare on certain topics. For example, when you talk of women empowerment or democracy or United Nations, so they will tell you that how tricky things could be handled, that what could be your approach. So basically, it varies from question to question, from topic to topic. So there's no hard and fast rule that a smart work is that has a certain specific meaning and it can be applied generally to everything. Not at all. So I think when you have certain issues, and accordingly you are going to be trained in a particular way, so that would be your smart work. So smart work in your preparation, smart work in your paper attempting techniques, and the smart work in getting knowledge and in opting certain option subjects as well. So this is a term that can be applied to every phase of your competitive exam. But these days you have also heard of smart lockdown as well. Anyhow, we are not going to get ourselves in political discussions. Okay, so then I will tell about that CSS, that what would be the advantages of CSS exam. So as you know very well, that in CSS exam, you are going to have some sort of opportunity that is not available in your other exams. What are the two main advantages of CSS exam? So basically in this exam, you have horizontal mobility as well as a vertical mobility. When I say horizontal mobility, it means on the same grade, you have the opportunity to serve on same scale in various departments. For example, you can take example of any department, but I'm going to take example of administrative servers, that you are assistant commissioner, for example. So not only that, if you are assistant commissioner in some place, so maybe after 1 year, 2 year, you would be given opportunity to serve as assistant commissioner in other areas. Then you have opportunity to serve in office. Okay, and so similarly, maybe you are going to perform your services in education sector, then in the health sector, and then you can say in a district government. So basically you are in grade 17, but as well as your scope is concerned, as well as your discharge of responsibility is concerned, so you can say that there's a much variety. So that is horizontal. And the other advantage of CSS exam, that there's a vertical mobility. When you talk of vertical mobility, here I'm talking of upward mobility, that is your promotion. When you talk of your certain provincial exams, so you know very well that your promotion is always stuck, and if you are going to be recruited in grade 17, so there is no chance that within 10 years you are going to get promoted to next grade, that is grade 18. Sorry, I have got a message कि मेरी voice नहीं आ रही. Is my voice clear to everyone? Just
Yes,
for
sir.
clarity.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, again I would say that those students who have some sort of voice issue, they have to reconnect themselves, or they have to improve their own connectivity, because other students, they do not have any issue. If there was any issue on the part of me, so I think that all of you should experience some sort of distortion. So most of students, they are fine with my voice, so you need to sort out your issues by yourself. Okay, now I come to
type it out because they won't be able to hear you.
Sorry, आपकी आवाज नहीं, दोबारा बोलें फहद.
तो मैं कह रहा हूँ, I think you should type it out because they won't be able to hear you.
आपकी आवाज बड़ी कम आ रही है, ऊंचा बोलें थोड़ा सा.
सर मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आपको टाइप करना चाहिए, they won't be able to hear you. अभी आप कह रहे हैं कि उनको रिकनेक्ट करना चाहिए, तो they're probably not hearing you.
हाँ, okay, got it. चलो, let me type. Okay. So I was talking of CSS exam. One thing, again, I'm going to say, I am really sorry that I do not have access to Facebook. So those students who have joined through Facebook, I will not take their questions. So only the way through which I can answer their questions, that they need to send a message on Zoom app. And CSS Officer Academy has already shared the link of Zoom app. You know the ID and the password. So you can get connected through Zoom if you want to get your question answered. Okay. So I was talking of advantage of CSS. So basically, there's also vertical mobility, that is your promotion. In your any provincial exam, or even in any other federal exams, you would come to know that promotion is a very sensitive issue, and mostly you are going to be recruited to grade 17. So there's a much probability that at least 10 years you will spend in the same grade, and there's no as such promotional path. But when you talk of CSS exam, so there is a much certainty, there's a much clarity. You have your own encadred seats, so everything is clear. You have your competition with your own colleagues or within your own cadres, but you do not have some sort of confusion that to what extent you can get promoted, or what would be the scene of promotion and so on. So everything is very clear and it is very systematic. You need not to get worried. So these are the two main advantages, and especially when you talk of certain perks and privileges, so these things, they are missing in other services. And when you start your career being a CSP, and when you compete this exam and you are going to get allocated, so whatever you are going to expect from the day first you get your own, you have the opportunity to shape up your dreams. So this is a very shortcut way through which you can accomplish your own goals. That's why CSS exam has advantage over other exams. Okay, next I would frequently ask questions that most of the students, they have some sort of confusion and they do not know, and even these are the general questions on the basis of my own experience, that what are the queries of students. How to start CSS preparation? You have to take initiative. This is the first thing. Because if you do not take initiative, and if you just keep on thinking and you just keep on planning and practically you do not take any initiative, it will be very problematic for you. I would say that whatever the level you have to start your preparation. But with the passage of time, you can improve. But if you are not willing to take a start, how you can expect that you will have improvement in your own writings? So your writing skills and your knowledge and something like that, everything is possible in this world to be overcome. Your issues, they can be redressed, but you need to start. And the second thing, that you need to start with compulsory or the optional. I would say that whatever the interest you have, you can start from any subject. That is not a big problem, because at the end of the day, you have to do your compulsory as well as your optional subjects. So the first thing, that you have to take a start, you have to take initiative. And the second question is that which optional subject should I opt? Again, I would say that it depends. Yes, if you have your own some sort of masters in any subject and you have your command, and if you believe that within 7 to 10 days you can complete that subject by yourself, then I would say there is no harm to opt that subject. But if any subject that needs more than 10 days, then I would not recommend you to opt that optional subject. Then it's better that academy would give you better idea. They would devise a certain plan for you, and they would make some sort of techniques for you. You need to follow those steps. Otherwise, it would be very problematic for you. Okay, next, am I competent enough to take CSS exam? Yes, you are competent enough, but the thing is that you need to show determination and commitment as well as enthusiasm. If I say that this course is for 4 months, it means you need to spend 4 months in order to analyze your own abilities. The problem is that when you join, and if any teacher is there, for example, even I deliver lecture and my other colleagues would deliver lecture, so they have their own rich experience. And even if I talk of my own position, so I have more than 9 years experience of government job, and that is almost 10 years. So because I qualified in 2009. So if any teacher is going to deliver certain lecture, so that is on base of his vast knowledge. You cannot compare yourself equivalent to teacher on the same day, because you are a newcomer, you are a beginner. So at least, even if you want to test your abilities, the minimum time period is that you have to wait for 4 months. Do not compare and don't judge on the first day that you have no preparation. The answer remains very simple, that you were having no preparation. That's why you have approached this forum. If you had known everything, there was any proper reason to join any academy. So basically, you are a knowledge seeker, you need something, that's why you have joined certain forums. So I would say that yes, you are competent enough because you have 14 years of education, you have second division, at least second division in your bachelor's, and you are up to the age criterion as well. So I would say that yes, you can do, but do not judge your knowledge on first day. So first of all, try to work hard for 4 months, try to get knowledge for 4 months, and try to have some sort of improvement, and at the end of 4 months, then you may analyze your own knowledge. And I'm sure, inshallah, after 4 months, if you join CSS Officer Academy, it will be up to your expectations, desires, dreams, and it is up to your own. You can say that whatever the purpose for which you were intending to join, so accordingly you would have the satisfactory results. Okay, the next question is that what is sufficient time to spend for preparation? Okay, basically, frankly speaking, there's a no fixed answer, but generally on the basis of my own experience, and even if I share my own experience with you, I would say that I spent 4 months. So you have to do many other things as well besides studies. But it depends that what is your level, what is your interest, and as to what extent you are going to understand things, and what is your retaining capacity. But on general, you can say yes, 4 to 6 months, they are sufficient. But some students, it may be sufficient for these students to up to 2 months. But some students, they may require 8 months. So it depends on your interest, on the basis of your existing knowledge, and on the basis of your interest to have improvement. So if you're going to spend 6 hours per day up to 4 months, I would say it is sufficient. And if you just spend 3 hours per day, and I would say that maybe 10 months, they're sufficient. And even if you're going to spend 12 hours per day, I would say maybe 2 months are sufficient. So there's a no hard and fast rule. It depends on your own commitment. It depends your own, you can say that your motivation. So accordingly, you can make some sort of plan as well. Okay, then the next question is that how much should I study? Okay, again, I would say that you need to have your own targets. That, for example, if I'm going to share my own experience with you, when I was preparing for CSS exam in 2008, then I thought that I will complete this chapter in 3 hours. Okay, so my purpose was that I would complete one chapter of, for example, Park Affair and 2 topics of current affairs. Just I'm going to give you certain examples, and I would write 1 essay in 1 day. So if that was my target, so even I was thinking that these things could be done within 4 hours, but sometime I had to spend 7 hours. And sometime if I thought that it could be done within 6 hours, sometimes even I completed within 4 hours. So your concern is that you need to complete your target. You should not concern that it is 4 days or 7 days or 4 hours or 5 hours. Your targets should be fulfilled. You should have satisfaction at the end of day before going to bed. If you have satisfaction that you have prepared, you have spent reasonable time, you have made some sort of struggle, and that is going to satisfy your own consciousness, I would say that is you have made your day. If when you're going to sleep, and if you have repentance that is not a reasonable day that you have spent, that you should have spent in a better way, but unfortunately you engage yourself in a certain activities, accordingly you spoil your whole day. So I think if this is not a situation, then it is fine, whether 4 hours or 6 hours. Before going to bed, you should have satisfaction that you have gained something today, and that is up to your demand and as up to your requirement. Okay, then important thing is importance of test system. Yes, I would say test system is very important, because sometimes you understand things very well, but not necessarily if you understand things very well that you can write things in a very effective and a very decent way. So I'm not going to generalize it that all students, they would have the same problem, but some students, they are not good in writing. So I would say, yes, practice makes a man perfect. So if you believe so, that you cannot write very well, and sometimes this is very difficult to express your own ideas, You cannot convey your thoughts to your own audience. So this is a practice by which you can overcome your own flaws. So I would say yes, test system is very important. Okay, and the next question is that what should be done to improve material of the essay? Okay, I would say that there are multiple ways through which you can improve your essay. First of all, that you need to diversify your reading, not necessarily that you need to rely on your current affairs, but on the other hand, and one thing more, not necessarily if some students they say that you need to rely on just on Dawn newspaper, so that is a sufficient. So it depends that how much you can say that sometimes the whole perspective is not going to be discussed in one article. So that is up to your requirement. Sometime maybe certain knowledge may be got from Dawn paper or news. At the same time, you can get the knowledge from international forum as well. That is New York Times or Washington Post. And because they are also very important and they give you certain international, they give you certain information related to international context. So what is your concern that when you write your essay, your knowledge is very important, that how you take things in a local context, what is the regional approach, what is your national strategy, and what is your international, what is the response of the global community. So basically these are the various forums, they are very important. So your maybe certain statements or certain press release from certain ministries, they may also be very important for your essay. And as you know very well that the total there are 8 to 10 topics, they are very important for essay. For example, United Nations, climate change, then terrorism and health issues, education, democracy, women empowerment. So basically these are very important topics, and one of these topics that is likely to be your in exam. So I would say that from any source where you get any information and a new perspective you may get from any source, so that may be important for you. And maybe even as a teacher that is going to deliver lecture, maybe all things they are going to be conveyed to you thoroughly. So again, I would say that there's a no hard and fast rule, but still you may rely on certain ways by which you can build up your knowledge, by which you would have more confidence as well. Because when you have diversity, when automatically you have some sort of psychological satisfaction. This is very important, because before writing something, it depends on you whether what is your morale before writing, how you feel, whether you can write up to 2500 words or not, whether you can give a proper intro, whether you can give a decent conclusion. Because sometimes the exact, you can say the exact perspective is not the same as you prepared. But when you sit in examination hall, sometimes you feel yourself in trouble. Then it depends on your own approach. It depends on your own knowledge. It depends on your own training, that how you behave and how you overcome your own nerves and how you give a better performance in a complex situation. So I would say that you need to enhance your reading, because it would give you a better perspective, and it would enrich your intellectual skills. On the other hand, it will give you psychological relief as well. So these are the things, they are very important, and reading is especially very essential when you talk of your CSS exam. Okay, so is it good to memorize some good essays? I would say no. Why? Because this is you need to take this opportunity as a blessing for you. For example, why it is a blessing? Because if you were not in such position to write few sentences by yourself in this stage, so right now Allah Almighty has given you this opportunity that you can overcome your own flaws. So if you have opportunity, so why don't you try to overcome your own weaknesses? Why don't you brush up your latent potentials? Everybody is the same. It depends on individuals as to what extent they explore their latent potentials. So I would say, rather than cramming certain essays, you need to develop your skills how to write essay. Because even you become CSP officer, so at the end of the day, when you interact with your own society members, you would find yourself in difficulty. When you would be recruited to various organizations, you would be dependent on your own subordinates. So independence is a blessing. So why don't you avail this opportunity, and why don't you make error-free sentences? Just this is a matter of this is a matter of hard work only for a few months, and within a couple of weeks you can overcome your own issues. This is not something, and if anybody qualifies CSS, that person is not an angel. We are all same. It depends on our own motivation, it depends on our own preparation, it depends on our own thinking, that how we are going to solve our issue. We cannot shut our eyes. We have to be more creative and alert. So I would say, rather than cramming, you need to develop your skill how to write good essay. Because if you develop your such skills, it would give you much advantages, not only in your essay as well as your in other papers as well. So I would say that do not cram any essay. Yes, you can cram certain sentences, there's no harm. For example, you can cram certain quotations, you can cram certain good vocab, there's no harm. But you cannot cram from A to Z whole essay. I think it would be bullshit, and you would feel yourself in trouble. I would not recommend you. Okay, and how many attempts? Okay, so as you know very well that in your competitive exam, you would be given 3 attempts. And when to take, I would say that at any stage, if you have preparation, you need to avail that attempt. Many students, they are of opinion that they will take attempt for sake of experience. This is an silly approach. I would not recommend it, because this is not a wisdom that you are going, if somebody is going to jump into well just for sake of experience, you are also doing the same. I think you may get experience from other person rather than just going to make victim of yourself in any attempt. So please, whenever you make your mind to take attempt of CSS exam, please prepare very well, because if you prepare yourself in a very organized way, then you can have some sort of evaluation. If without preparation, if you go for CSS exam, and if even you get highest marks, but you cannot evaluate your own performance, because you are not sure whether in next year you will get the same result or not. You don't know that what was your preparation and on which areas you focus. And if you prepared very well, and if you couldn't perform very well, yes, you would learn a lot, that what was your mistake, that basically you were going to rely on certain things in a very different angle, and you can say that these things, they were missing. So only those students can get experience from CSS exam who go and who attempt paper with full preparation. Otherwise, I would not agree with those people who say that just for sake of experience they are going to appear in CSS exam. Not at all. Okay, and next I would continue. Best way to retain vocabulary. Okay, one thing is that CSS exam, what is the requirement of examiner? Examiner requirement is that if you write something, that should be error-free. Examiner is not going to limit you that please write on this sentence, that write on this approach. He gives you certain topic and he leaves the ball in your court, that you need to substantiate it according to your own knowledge. So that is up to student how they are going to take perspective of that topic. Okay, so you are totally free in taking approach in certain topic. And examiner is not expecting that you need to have very high-fi vocabulary, very hard vocabulary, not at all. So examiner concern is that if you write error-free sentences, if you convey information to the examiner as you had thought, then you will get good marks. But even if you use hard vocabulary, but on the other hand, you are not going to give a real sense to examiner, there is a much chance, not much chance, but I would say that there is 100% surety that you will get failed. So the best thing is that write very simple words and simple sentences, but these sentences should be error free. That is more